Hey everybody, it's Tom, Walk. I'm out doing another shakedown hike for the Ouachita Trail in Arkansas and Oklahoma. I am back on the Albany-Hudson electric trail because it's right by my house. So the first video I did on this trail, I went south from my house down just past the village of Kinderhook, and I turned around and went back. This time I am on that same section, but I went past where I turned around last time, and I'm heading south further. And this time I'm going to have my son pick me up and go as far as I feel like going. So I'm headed south toward Stuyvesant and Stottville, New York, two little villages. Ultimately toward Hudson, New York. I'm not going to hike that far. And we'll see how far I get before I decide to call my son. I have to go to my son that I'm hiking the trail with. I'm going to his apartment later this afternoon because we're getting our food ready. It's crunch time. Today is Monday and we leave on Sunday morning to get on an airplane to go to Arkansas. So we got a week left to prepare. We're going to put all our food together, get what we're going to bring with us, take the other half of it, put it in a resupply box to send to the Bluebell Cafe. So I'm doing that this evening at his house. We already bought all the food and prepared it all. I have dehydrated in my new dehydrator Hungarian goulash with the Schill brothers' grandmother's recipe, who is their mother taught us all how to make. Shout out to the Schill brothers. I'll put that video link below. That came out excellent. I ate a little of it some of it before I dehydrated it. And then the other one, I followed the Schill brothers recipe again for buffalo chicken, which is basically just shredded chicken in a hot buffalo sauce. And you can eat it plain or mix it with other things, put it in a wrap, whatever. So I made a bunch of that. You can hear that blue jay. I can see him, I don't know. Two of them. You probably saw that one take off. They're hard to see in the trees on video. You can probably see that one flitting around. Two blue jays. So, we'll see how far I get. Heading south towards Hudson. And I have my full pack on again. This is all to get me ready to be carrying this pack for 223 miles. To get a feel for it. So, I'll be back. So this is cool. There's the waterfall in the distance. It's I don't think it's Stuyvesant Falls. There is a Stuyvesant waterfall. We'll see when I get up here. Get a better view of it. Okay, I think this is the town of Stockport. And there's a cool waterfall back there. Hard to see through the trees. It's man-made. There's like it's all a big cement buttress. It's dammed behind it. Again, I was talking about the mills down in Valatie. I think they had mills everywhere down here back in the day. So that building up there looks like some kind of an old mill. So I don't know what mill it is, but that would be my guess. Is it this probably powered something back in the day. It's definitely man-made. So I've driven these roads before. I've never walked down here. So it's very interesting to see a whole totally different perspective of this area from what I'm used to seeing driving in a car. Okay, yeah, that's is that the Stuyvesant Bridge? It might be. But there's a metal bridge down there that goes across the creek. That's the Kinderhook Creek still, by the way. I mentioned that last time in my other videos. 49 miles long that threads all through this area. Okay, I was correct. That is Stuyvesant Falls. This is the placard that's here. I'll throw the picture in, which I doubt you'll be able to read very well, but it talks about it. So that's a power station that I said might be a mill. And there's the old bridge. Built in 1899. I don't think that's the same bridge. To replace a timber bridge, the 202-foot Pennsylvania span is the longest metal truss bridge in Columbia County. Steel arches were added to strengthen it in 1993. Yeah, that is the same bridge. It's still there. Built in 1899. That's cool. That's part of the power company. The Albany-Hudson Railway and Power Company built this electric generating plant here in 1900 to power its 37-mile Albany-Hudson Trail line. Oh, cool. It was an electric trail line. And illuminates streets and towns along the way. That's why it's called the Electric Trail. And this is cool. This is an old picture of Stuyvesant Falls with that building in front of me right there. And the waterfall next to it. Now this, here's a waterfall next to the building. The one I started videoing at first is up here. That's a different waterfall. That's the one I was taking a video of. This one is behind the building. I can't see it from where I'm standing because I'm over here on the other side of that building. So this 1878 engraving shows the Van Allen cotton mill. So it is a cotton mill. Okay, that's not the power plant, that's the cotton mill. At the left in the lower right of the Van Hosen cotton mill were the Albany-Hudson Railway Power Company. Okay, so they were all right here. And power plant built in 1900. Okay. So the falls powered the power plant and they also powered the cotton mill. And this big building is the cotton mill, not the power plant. I'm not sure exactly where the power plant was. I think behind it somewhere. And if you want to pause the video and read that, I'm not going to read all of it. There's the cotton mill. There's the power generators that powered the rail line. That's the building that housed the power generators that powered the rail line. And we're heading south. Further down the trail, I'm on an interesting section of the creek where it really widens out. Interesting that this is posted private property. I'm going to have a good view up here. So there's a high tension power line above me, which you'll see in a minute. That's why this area is open. And a good view of the creek, Kinderhook Creek. Quite wide here. And I know down this way I've seen, I've driven over bridges over it down this way, and I always see people down there fishing. I don't know what's in it. I fished up near me in Valatie, not caught a darn thing. But I don't purport to be a fisherman, other than just casually once in a while. So, still heading south. So I'm south of Stuyvesant now. I think the next town I'm going to come to is Stockport, I believe. I've mistakenly said Stockport back there because I wasn't sure where I was, but then realized I was in Stuyvesant Falls. So I'll let you know when I get there. So this road is just south of Stottville. I've driven this before. You'll notice slippery when wet. This is a steel bridge. You don't notice it too much in a car, but I drive a motorcycle. And if you drive a motorcycle, you know this. You drive on a steel bridge like this, it's like being on a sheet of ice on a motorcycle. And wet or dry doesn't matter. You drive over it 5 miles an hour or less, sometimes with your feet down. Look at this eagle or something flying up here. Maybe a turkey vulture? Hard to tell. So this is the paper mill that was in that on the sign. And we're heading up this way. There's some kind of business in here now. There's trucks here, there's lights lit up. I don't know what's in here. It is not a paper mill anymore, to my knowledge. No idea what it is. But anyway, we're going to the right up here. And along the creek. So that sign way back there mentioned George Chittenden and building a house. I think that's his house up on the hill, the guy that built the paper mill back in the day. Cool water tower and a very high chimney, which is not attached to anything, so I'm sure it's not in use anymore. It probably was an active chimney when a paper mill ran there. Whether it was coal fired or not, I don't know. But we're heading down the creek and up the road. The trail follows the road. There's a trail sign next to me. So this is south of Stottville, I mentioned. And now I'm heading out toward 9H, which is their road down toward Hudson. And I'm going to keep going. It's about 10:30. I started walking at 7:30. So I think I'm going to walk till about noon or a little after. I have a goal in mind, which I might make and I might not. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to say it and then not decide to quit before I get there. If I get there, you'll know it. See up the trail. So this is kind of cool. Those are alpacas. I'm wearing alpaca fur. I have an alpaca hat, alpaca gaiter, and an alpaca shirt, all from the Appalachian Gear Company. Cool animals. Kind of like llamas, but furrier, with big eyes. Expensive too. They're like $20,000 for one, I think, or a breeding pair. I don't know. My brother owns a farm, and I said, hey man, get some alpacas. You can give me some fur and knit some clothes for me. And he told me how much they cost. I'm like, never mind. Some chickens down there too. Stockport. I kept saying Stockport with a T. It's CK. I misspoke. Still on the trail. You know, I'm not going to 9H. Back on that metal bridge, if I had turned left, that would have gone out to 9H. I turned right. The trail goes right. So I'm not actually going to 9H. I'm actually heading into Stockport to the right. Eventually it goes to Route 9. So there's Route 9 and 9H. They run almost parallel to each other down to Hudson, New York. So now I'm heading towards Route 9 and through Stockport, which I'm very familiar with because my kids went to a Christian school in Stockport. There's a Assembly of God Church, Calvary Chapel, not Calvary Chapel, Calvary Assembly, and they went to church there, school there, before they closed. We went to church and still go to church in Kinderhook, a Christian community church, which I showed on my first video on the trail, the Hudson Electric Trail. So, still have friends in that church, the Calvary Church in Stockport, which I might be walking by. I'm not sure. If I do, I'll film it. It's not a school anymore. Sadly, it closed. They didn't have enough kids. They couldn't keep going. But anyhow, heading through Stockport toward Hudson, but not to Hudson. I don't know if you can read that yet, but it says U.S. Route 9 to Hudson. So this, as I said, goes out to Route 9 toward Hudson. And this is all the trail in it. Follows the road for quite a while here. I've been on this road for at least 1 to 2 miles. The road to the right is to Route 9. The trail goes up this road. So I'm digressing. I won't be going past my kids' school because that's up that hill to the right. So this is still a regular road, but small. But I think eventually I'll be back on, well, it's actually a trail and not a road anymore. We shall see. I'll keep you updated. So, as I mentioned at the end of that road, I will be back on the actual trail enough and not have to road walk anymore. Because here's the trail. Very nice too. Look at the stonework. They put all this in just for the trail. That's new. Impressive. And here's a sign about the town of Stockport. I think that's probably the bridge I walked over. That's obviously not the same bridge. It's been rebuilt. Full disclosure, it's not stonework, it's cement. Made to look like rocks. Still looks cool. There's a lot of it, all the way up there. So I just decided to look at my all trails to see where I was. And I talked about two villages, Stottville or Stockport and Stockport with a CK. And I thought it was the same town with a different spelling. Anyhow, I'm putting a screenshot up and you can see they are two different towns. So I was mistaken, but it was a cool little town to walk through. So I'm thinking, looking at the distances and where I'm at, I'm going to probably stop in Stockport or Stottville. That's where my kids went to school years ago. But I'm feeling like that'll be my goal. Probably have my son pick me up there in that village. More than likely. But I'll let you know. Okay, we have made it to Stottville. It's not Stockport. Stottville is the town my kid's school was in the church there. So it looks like the trail crosses this road and keeps going. Their school is to the left up the road, which I'm not going that way. Quite a bit of traffic. Wow. I'll be back when I cross the road. My goal that I mentioned I might do, that I didn't reveal, is to walk to my son's apartment. He lives in an apartment down the road from Stottville, across from a Walmart. So this trail is following the creek, okay? But this power line goes up behind Lowe's, Kohl's, and Walmart. So I am going to go up it, and I might get some funny looks from people in Walmart, but I'm going to go up behind Walmart, around it, out their driveway, and the road he lives on is across the street from Walmart. So this ought to be interesting. See you on the power line. This is not posted as private land, but it very well could be. But being that there's a power line here, I'm not too worried. I don't know if you can see it, but through those trees are street lamps for the parking lot. I think of Kohl's. Kohl's is next to Walmart. Kohl's comes up first. Chances are this is their land. I don't know the place people that built the plaza. But I'm going to have to do a little bushwhacking. I hope there's not a fence that I have to climb. That's the back of Kohl's. I'm going to go through their parking lot to get to my son's. And I hear a truck back there, probably bringing a delivery in. So I don't know what the best place to go through is going to be. I think I want to go up a little. I think I want to come up the left side of the building, which is between Kohl's and Lowe's. Lowe's is there too. Yeah, the corner of the building's up there. I think I'm going to bushwhack through so I come out on the side of their building and I can walk up through their parking lot to the road. And there's a very long driveway that goes out to Route 9. And my son's apartment's up that way. And like I said, I got a backpack on, so I might get some looks from people. But I don't care. So when I was young and lived with my mother and stepfather back in the 1980s, let's see, 85, I'm going to say, I read a book called A Walk Across America by Peter Jenkins. It was extremely popular at the time. It was a bestseller at that time. And he was a young, post-college, disgruntled hippie type dude that decided to walk across the country to find himself. And you can see I can go right through there. That's where I'm going. I think that's Lowe's. I think. That looks like their garden area, that fence. Anyhow, he walked across America on the road, like literally from like Alfred University, I think in New York State, all the way down to the Gulf. And then when he got down there, he met a woman he married. They wrote that book. She actually wrote the book, I found out later. He was a ghostwriter. She was the ghostwriter for his first book, Barbara Jenkins. And eventually they got married, and then they walked west, and they walked from there to the west coast to the Pacific Ocean. Anyhow, that inspired me back then to want to backpack and hike, even though he did it on roads, not a trail. And at that time, I wanted to do the Appalachian Trail, but I was like, 18, 19 years old, and I was too poor to be able to afford to do the Appalachian Trail. My parents weren't going to finance me. So that's where my dream to do the Appalachian Trail came from. I knew about it back then, and I've always thought about doing it. But as it turns out, I won't be able to do it until I retire when I'm 62. But anyway, I digress. Okay, heading into the Lowe's parking lot. Oh, this is cool. I don't know if you can see it. Way in the distance, and I'll zoom in if it'll let me. That's the Catskill Mountains in the distance. So, hiking to Lowe's. Thought I'd put my ugly mug on camera. So, this is the end of the road. I successfully navigated the Lowe's parking lot, crossing Route 9, and I'm almost to my son's apartment. So I have my other son who's at home. He's my youngest. He lives at home, goes to college. He can come pick me up at his brother's apartment. So it's been fun. I hiked about 12 point some miles. I'll put it on the screen. See you later.